What's up, everyone? Today we are going to take a look at kind of a new release, sort of, for Motu Classics. So we've got a single-carded Horde Trooper here, and a little bit of backstory before we go into the overall review. So back in 2013, these guys were originally released by Matty Collector in a 2-pack. And it was 2 Horde Troopers. One was battle damaged, one was not. And battle damage just had like extra paint on it, really. But they sold out, I mean, damn near instantly, because as you can imagine, army building is a thing. Motu Classics fans are pretty much rabid for the cooler figures, and this is one of them. So I don't believe they were ever reissued, but towards the end of the line, a single-carded version was rumored that it was coming out. And then, of course, Motu Classics died, and they just sort of never came out. We assumed it was kind of just never going to happen at that point. But about a month or so ago, one of these popped up on eBay, and it sold for a ridiculous price, which sort of set off, the rumor mill again that these guys were going to come out. And then, lo and behold, not too long ago on, Monday? May the 1st? This is May the 6th right now. On the 1st, these guys went up for sale on Mattel's web shop. They sold out really quickly, and then they came back up again. They might actually still be up as of today on back order, whatever that means. They say they're back ordered until June 15th. So there might be more coming. Who knows? But there's a good chance that if you didn't get them on that day, you may not get them at all. There's a thought that may not actually happen. So, kind of weird to actually get it to come out. Very cool that it is out. But now that we've got it, we're going to take a look. And I don't have this guy yet, so it is a pleasure for me to actually get a hold of one. More than one, actually. And we're going to dive right in. So we're going to take a look at packaging first. We've got our standard Motu Classics mailer box, logo, name, and then inside is the carded figure. And as you can see, this guy is filled to the brim with stuff because the 2-pack came with a ton of accessories. They have a crossbow, they have a shield, they've got a staff, they've got a shock rod. So there's all kinds of stuff in here. Same package we're used to. It's got the Horde logo on there, no bio on the back, and then we've got some Horde types on the back of the package. So with much pleasure, I'm going to crack this guy open and then we're going to take a look at him. All right, so here he is. Well, here they are. For the purposes of this review, I'm opening 2 to kind of display them a little more like they would have been with the original 2-pack. Because I don't have these, like I said, to demo the differences between the original and the quote-unquote reissue, because there might actually be, maybe in terms of quality, I'm not really sure. I've already got some minor gripes about these figures that I was kind of worried about to begin with. So, my main thought is that as Matty Collector kind of dwindled into obscurity at the end of 2016, that, things kind of weren't the greatest with some figures. I was worried that this one might be one of them. And mostly what I've got problems with are some of the paint apps on this guy. But overall, I'm still happy to have them. So let's take a quick look. We'll do articulation first, because that might be one of the areas that I have a gripe about, but it really comes down to the fact that this thing is limited because of its sculpt, because of what it is. So head can rotate all around. It does have a bit of up and down motion, but very minor. The arms can go out all the way, and then they can swivel all the way around. We do have a bicep swivel. This shoulder pad is going to get in the way just a bit. The elbows are jointed, but this ribbing, this padding here at the bicep is going to really hinder that articulation. It cannot go any further than this. The wrists, as per usual with Motu Classics at this stage in the game, only have a swivel rotation at the wrist. There is a waist twist, there is a crunch, but the armor is going to get in the way. This armor does pop off, and I'll show you that in a minute. Legs can go out really far, so you can almost get him to do the splits if you were so inclined. Legs can kick forward maybe 70 degrees. The cod piece is going to get in the way, and then the back kick isn't too great. They do swivel at that thigh joint. There is a knee joint, but like with the elbow, the ribbing and the sculpt gets in the way, so it only kicks back that far. They do rotate at the knee joint. It's not a boot cut, it's actually the knee itself. And then the ankle has a hinge, but maybe it's just my figures. They're all very tight right now, but this is pretty much all it can do. I can't get it to move anyway. Even if it could move, the actual armor comes down over the foot, so it's not going to rotate anyway. So articulation, kind of limited, but these guys are robots. They're they're supposed to be robots, so I can get over the fact that they are slightly limited in that regard. Not a big deal for me. The paint, however, is kind of a problem. So I'll go over the problems that I've got first. I've got two out, and I got the second one out, to show what they'd look like together, but then I also got them out to see if I had problems on more than one. So on this guy, the visor is kind of janky. You can see that there's black in the yellow and there's yellow in the black on the face. And then on the Horde emblem, I've got red on the actual chest armor. The rest of him is okay. Now, what may not be able to be picked up too well is that, like I said previously, one of the Horde Troopers in the 2-pack was battle damage. They had, like, blaster residue on their helmets and on the armor itself. And there is what looks like remnants of that on this, specifically on the helmet, but not on both of them. They're slightly different, and it may not pick up too well, and I apologize for that. But it is kind of weird that there is shading on certain places that is more prevalent on one than the other. I haven't checked all of them. I have 9 of these guys right now, with a 10th on the way because they shipped one by himself for some reason. So that's kind of odd. Now on this guy, I have kind of a different problem. You can see the black is all over the helmet here. It went way too high up. The Horde emblem is much better, but this is a problem. So it's not really killing me. It's not going to bother me too much. But this was my worry, is that something might be a little sloppy as they tried to get these out the door once everything was technically over with in this line. Now, as far as the rest of the paint goes, there are silver accents on the chest here and here and here, and then we've got the gold emblem on the cod piece. And then there is some silver on the back, and then we've got shading on the back as well. And it's a little more prevalent on the one on the left than the right. May not be able to see that too well, though. So they aren't overloaded with paint apps, but they have it where they're supposed to have it, and it looks okay. It could be better. We'll see what the other ones look like when I finally crack the rest of my little squadron open. So let's take a look real quick at the underlying sculpt on the Horde Trooper, and then we'll go over the rest of the sculpt. Okay, now like I said, these guys are robots. I'm sure if you're watching this review, you're probably familiar with Motu, I would imagine. If not, these guys are robots in the cartoon, and at the time, these figures were, I believe, they were entire new sculpts for this line, and they even went so far as to sculpt the underlying chest sculpt into a robot shape with all the kind of circuitry looking, and there's even paint apps under here too, which is, it's almost unnecessary, but it's a welcome addition. It's cool. I like it. The remaining sculpt on the figure is exceptional, though. Real quick, the armor is removable. Obviously, I took it off. It just kind of pegs on. It's pretty standard for Motu Classics that any characters that need armor just have another piece that sits over top of the normal buck. Let's move him back. So the rest of the sculpt, though, is really, really solid. We've got, this guy looks like a Classics interpretation should for this figure. I'm very pleased. There's, the gauntlets are really nice. There is the ribbing all over it, which, like I said, does hinder articulation, but it's what it is. It's part of the sculpt. You can see the robotic chest underneath the armor coming through. The Horde emblem is as always very cool. We've got a lot of techno type circuitry looking things all over the cod piece in the back, and then the armor plating just looks really good. So there's a reason this guy sold out instantly when he first came out. This is a fantastic figure, and it's a very cool interpretation of this character in this line. So the sculpt is really, I think, the standout aspect of this figure. Maybe only not beating out the accessories that he comes with, because as you can see, he comes with a couple, but there's even more than this. So let's take a look at all of the things he comes with and the ways that you can display this guy. All right, so accessories. These guys come with 4 each. Well, maybe 5, depending on how you want to describe one, and I'll get to that one in a second. It goes back to paint apps that I talked about previously. So we've got our kind of shock rod, and this is more from the Filmation cartoon. This is what they used in the show. We've got a Horde crossbow, we have got a Horde shield, and then we have got a Horde staff. And you've got a lot of different options here. You can obviously change it up quite a bit, especially if you've got multiples. You can have them all look different, and they don't have to all be carbon copies of each other. The shock rod is probably my favorite, just because of what it is and what it represents from the show. The crossbow is obviously a Horde staple for the toy line, and it is tailored to the Horde Trooper. It's got the yellow kind of V that simulates their eyes, and then a little techno kind of wiring circuitry type design on the backside there. The shield is kind of like a Horde bat type shield. Very impractical, I would say, since it has a humongous hole in it. But it's cool. It's got Horde X face on it. Not really any paint apps on it to make it stand out, except on the line work. It is kind of metallic, where the rest of the shield is not. And then we've got the staff, which is all decked out in techno type sculpting, and then it even has kind of a Horde, I don't know what you want to call that, maybe like an imp type creature on the end of it, but very reminiscent of vintage style Horde stuff. So I'm very pleased with the accessories for sure. Now, I did say there was a fifth one, and it's probably not really going to be considered as an accessory to most people, but it's in the box, and this is kind of where the differences come out, I think. If I'm wrong in this, someone please let me know. Like I said, the original 2-pack had a battle damage trooper, and so far I haven't found one. Mine are all kind of normal troopers. They have what looks like some battle damage shading on them, but it's not what the original 2-pack had. What I found in the box, though, is this, which is stickers that will simulate battle damage. And this is exactly the same thing that comes in the Hover Robots 3-pack. It's the exact same sticker set. So this is in there. You could pop them all over your Horde Trooper. I probably won't. I don't care for stickers in that regard. But it's a cool little addition that they threw in there. So I am very pleased overall with this set of figures. I think they are, a great addition to the Motu line. I'm glad that I got more than one, that's for sure, especially if they don't ever materialize again. If those back-ordered orders don't ever come back, I got what I needed, and I'm going to make a small army, and I'm keeping them. I didn't buy them in a resale. So I'm just overall very pleased. Obviously, I do have some paint issues, and it is what it is. I am used to that in this line by now, as bad as that is to have to say. I am used to paint issues in the Motu Classics line. These are a little worse than I was expecting, with the red bleeding over on that emblem and the black and the yellow on the eyes, and it being different on different troopers is just, it's kind of annoying. But at the end of the day, being able to get these figures and having the chance to have them in my collection now outweighs those small flaws. So I'm overall very pleased. If you were able to snag these, congratulations. Hopefully those back-ordered orders will get filled, and other folks will get to experience these figures if they never did. But they are a welcome addition to my collection. I can fully understand why these sold out initially, and I couldn't be happier to have a small army of these guys. So that's going to do it for this review, everyone. As always, stay tuned for more. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Do that whole YouTube deal for me. And until next time, everyone.